Hey, greetings. Welcome back to Code Quickie. Please like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, reach out to me in the comments. I want to help everybody. I also want everyone to help me as we continue in our journey to get certifications in Ruby. Ruby, once again, Ruby is a programming language designed to be human-friendly, right? Designed to make productivity easier. Even though the program doesn't run as fast as Python, it's still pretty fast, and when it comes to control flow, you're able to get a lot done with it. So let us get into the various expressions in Ruby, right? So that we can work more with that control flow, make it easier for us to program every day. So let's get into this lab. So first of all, first things that we have is statement modifiers. So usually what we would have is an if statement, right? If one is greater than 3, if so on, right? We're going to do some code, and then we end it up, right? So say, for example, right, if our conditional is simple, or what we need done is to be simple because of the conditional, instead of writing all this code, right, we could just have it all done in one line, right? And you can see as I run the code, right, we can see that if true, right, it's true, right? And then unless true, right? Unless it's true, we get, let's see what happens if we write it like this, right? We wouldn't get anything, right? So unless, right, you want to put out it's true unless it's true. So unless is like the only exception, right? And now I thought I had the case here, but right, it works for if unless. So I'll just probably go and update when I can. So unless. Right, so I made that modification. I'm just gonna have to find out my code is, right? All right, so that's the simplicity of statement modifiers, right? It takes our whole if statements and allows us to turn them into one-liners, right? So now what we have after that is the case statement, right? So if statements, unless statements are very good, right? But say, for example, right, if we had several comparisons we wanted to make, right, if and else, we'll probably start to repeat the if language equals JavaScript, if language equals Python, right? We don't like that. So what we have is a case. We use a case statement so it can help us quickly go through the logic that we would probably use this for if and else statements. You go ahead and run, right? Language is JavaScript, then puts what says, and like so. All right. So another piece of logic that we have is the conditional operator, right? And it always assigns a value to a variable if the value doesn't have anything in it. This is very important, right? When you don't want to replace important pieces of data, especially for symbols, right? You don't want to replace important pieces of data with with another important piece, right? This would be silence. I wouldn't throw an exception, but it wouldn't replace that important data anyway. It would be more dead code you have to go look after, but you don't have to worry about dealing with any bugs, right? You should go try to modify it. Right, we go ahead and run it, right? You see that we have the conditional operator working here, right? So whatever important that we want to keep in that variable, right, it's kept the same. Next, you have the ternary operator, and ternary operator is important when you want to do more than if unless, right? You don't want to keep silent if we have a false expression. You actually want something to happen, right? So the ternary operator, we have a question, and then if the conditional is true, return the left side of the colon, and the conditional is false, we return the right side. We run it again, and the answer is B, right? So is 1 greater than 2? False, the answer would be B. It was the other way around, greater than equal, right? It's not greater than or equal to, right? If it's less than 2, right, we get A. That'll be that. So implicit return. So in functions, right, when you see implicit return, this is in functions, right? So we have it in functions that when we need a value, we always like to try to put the return statement. Well, this is not really needed. I should even mention this in earlier things, right? We can also have a situation where where if at the final line of a piece of code would be what gets returned. Right, so if you want to run this code, right, we want to get n plus 5 back. We want to get this put back return. If put gives out a return statement, right, we would get the result of this. So let's run our code. Right, let's give 4 plus 5. Well, 4 plus 5 is 9. Let's see if that's the case so we can see it's true. Oh, that's interesting. Well, actually, return the first line. I thought it would return the last line. I guess so on a one-liner, it would turn the first line, but hold on. It did, but I forgot to do puts. So let me right. Right, so I did 4 plus 5. I didn't say 4 plus equals. We say 4 plus equals 5. Right? Last line of code, and then return true. Right? So you send in 4, right? 4 plus 5 is 9, and then 9 modulus 3. Modulus is the remainder of the division. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and the remainder from 9 divided by 3 is 0. So now we get, so now you know 9, 4 plus 5, which is 9, is a multiple of 3. Right? So that's how implicit return also works. And then anything I want to point out, you might see parentheses. I always like to leave out the parentheses in function calls and function definitions, just to know that I'm working with Ruby, right? That you might see them there as well, right? So it's either or. You could probably see either or. Just wanted to point that out. You use parentheses around your parameters and arguments when you're calling functions or creating them. Right, so say for example, right, we don't want to, say for example, we have a range, right, 1 to 10, that's inclusive, but we wanted to express a range from 95 to 100, right? We can use, I think it's that's done to use the range operator, but another way to do it is to use the up to method. Let me go ahead and copy. right? And then if we can see if it works with letters as well, right? You could go ahead and run it, and then you could probably try it down to see what happens, right? If it down to, I just wanted to see what happens. It's no down to method. That's interesting. Hold on. Very well. There's no down to. Maybe for numbers. Try this instead. Right. So, right up to, right, we have the same, right, we have the same, logic as the range. And say if you wanted to go ahead and reverse that, right, you could use the down to method. Hopefully it's not wrong again. There's too many updates are taking place. See if I use put. Right, there you go. If you want to go ahead and reverse the sequence, right, you can use something more useful instead of ranges. You can put that. But I wonder if our range is gonna, if a range will do the same thing. To A. Right. Oh, yeah, I try to reverse it using a range. Yeah, so, and that's not working out. So, right, we'd use the down to operator. So up to, down to, when you want to work with ranges. You want to reverse the range as well. Right, and so the next thing, we'll learn about, want to see if a method is on an object, right? For the string L, I think we were getting some errors. So instead of to get an error in closure code, where we can use the response to method, right? And then what it is that instead of for a method, what they actually are symbols, right? If you can actually look at L dot methods in that code, I always forget to put puts, right? We can see, or print, right? A lot better if I use print, right? We can see that they are all symbols here. So when we're asking about if a method is available on an object, right? We want to ask for it by its symbol. Respond to, down to, right? Right. And then since it's like a big word, it's gonna mask out what we're looking for here. Right, we go ahead and run it. Right, false. If it's there, true. False if it's not there, true if it's not. Right, and last thing for this lesson, so say for example, we just wanted like a simple way to remember how to append to objects, right? Say if you have an array, right, A, B, C, D, alphabet dot push, that's how you would append to an array. If say for like a string, we want to use the plus equals, that's how we append to a string, right? Instead of that, what we can do is we can use the concatenation operator. I'm not sure if it works with numbers or hashes, but we can use a concatenation operator. If you could see the result. Right? puts right after, right before it. Okay, right, so I was able to use the concatenation operator, right, append it again, and then same thing with the string, append it again. Okay, and see if you want to see if it's on numbers, right, let me see if, right, you want to use the response here, right? Yeah, because caption is undefined. All right, let me put a string instead. Right, true. Right, so let's see if that's the same for numbers. If you could say the same for numbers. Right, so non-response to concatenation. So let me see the concatenation operator. So let me see if we can do this 9, 10. Let's 9 to 10. All right, and then we get something interesting. So it works, but not exactly. So you want to use concatenation for information. And I think one last thing I wanted to show that for print, if you say print string and then p string, right? You could use you don't have to type out print, you could type in p. That's what we'll be doing for now, right? We can get what's very interesting, right? Even more interesting, right? Print will print the actual string, but p does something even more interesting. So like to keep them on the same line, but however, p and print seems to be very different. So if you just explore it and see what happens, right? You just want to be able to make sure that you're using the right statement, right? Put p and then print, right? So p exists, but it does something slightly different. But in my code, I see I use p a lot instead of print. So, but maybe I can see it's a string. Let me try to print it as a symbol, and let's see if we could get a symbol out of it, right? Because I know print wouldn't try to indicate that it's a string. Let me see it put, yeah, so p, yeah, so this is why I use p a lot over print, because p will really just tell you what it is, will really tell you the actual value behind it. Print is actually just leading. So now on in these lessons, I am going to be using p. I'm going to just add that to my instruction. So once again, thank you. So that is the end of our lab. So once again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, reach out to me in the comments. I'll put the instructional in the description. Reach out to me in the comments so I can help everybody. Everyone can help me get certified in all things Ruby. Thanks for watching.